In today's class, I'll teach you a very important topic of AutoCAD, and otherwise, the topic is important for your design concept. So, in coordinate, we have to understand absolute coordinate, relative coordinate, and polar coordinate. And why it is important, I'll make you understand through this space wherein we have a bed. Fine? So, let's begin. So to start, I'll take a polyline and then 0, comma 0, enter. So it starts from this XY coordinate of this screen. Can you see this? X is always on the right side and Y is always on the up side. This is the concept you have been taught in school. And if you go this side, this is minus X. And downside is minus y. This is one concept mathematically accepted worldwide. Polyline, I haven't clicked anywhere. 0, comma 0, enter. It means on x axis I have started from 0. On y axis I have started from 0. Got the point? Always remember, the moment you take a command called polyline, so it will ask you start point. So generally we click and then start, but here I'm not going to click. You'll be surprised that why you're not clicking, because I'm going to do 0, comma 0, enter. It will start from the 0 point of this x-axis and 0 point of this y-axis. I have already told you this is minus x, this is minus y. Now the next point, I'll have to give 3 feet, comma 3 feet. So it has gone 1 grid, 2 grid, 3 grid on x-axis and 3 grid on y-axis. So if I write here text, and in the text if I type x is equal to 3 feet and y is equal to 3 feet. So this point has traveled from this origin point 3 feet, and from this origin point on y-axis this point has gone up 3 feet. That is why this is exactly in the center of this axis and this axis. Got the point? Here there's no concept of angle, but the concept of point, which is traveling either on x-axis or an y-axis. Okay? Now, if such is the situation that every point getting reference from x and y, it means this is absolute coordinate. In absolute coordinate, whether you make 3 points, 4 points, 10 points, every point will take reference from this origin point. I show you. I have started again. This, let's erase it and then start again. 0, comma 0, enter. Then after 3 feet, comma 3 feet. And hereafter, if I type hash 4 feet, comma 3 feet, what happened? Why it went this way? Once again, hash 5 feet, comma 6 feet. What is happening? So now I have taken this particular point. I have taken how much? X and Y. X I have taken 6 feet. No, I have taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 feet. And Y I have taken how much? 6 feet. Okay, let's count. On X axis, you have traveled 5 feet. So grid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's check this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So every time, whether this point, or this point, getting its reference from this origin point. That is why the name here is used as absolute. In absolute coordinate, the origin point will remain here. This point has traveled 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 on x-axis and 1, 2, 3 on y-axis. So now we can write x is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll have to write here 4. Y is 3, so it's correct. So this point, this point, this point got referenced from the origin. Whether you make 3, 10, 20, whatever number of points, whether on this coordinate, or this coordinate, doesn't matter. What matters is that every time point will reference itself from the origin. Now let's take another example. I'm going to change the color. Polyline, same 0, 0. I have started 2 feet, 5 feet. 2 feet, 5 feet. 2 this way and 5 this way. So every time, remember, first value goes on x axis. Second value goes on y axis. Now I'm again going to type 4 feet, 3 feet. What is happening? This is behaving like absolute coordinate or relative coordinate. Let me know. I have taken 4 feet and then 3 feet. This time around, this point is not getting reference from origin. Let's copy it and let's fix the point. This was, how much was the x? X was 2, right? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y was 5. But what is happening here? X I have taken 1, 2, 3, 4. So x is 4 and y is 1, 2, 3. Understand? This point referencing itself, whatever value you are putting x4 and y3, this is referencing from this point, not from this. That is why this is called relative coordinate. Means this line is referencing not from this. This point is not referencing from this point, referencing from this point. So in relative coordinate, every time if you start making line, this point is not referencing from this point. This is now referencing from this last point. So what relative coordinate says, that the next point will always reference from the last point, not from the origin point. But in case of absolute coordinate, every point scattered here and there will always refer itself from the origin point. So whether this point, this point, this point, every point will reference itself from origin. That's the biggest difference between absolute and relative to the last point. I repeat once again, every next point will reference itself from the origin in absolute coordinate. Every next point will reference itself from the last point. That is why it will be called as relative coordinate. Now you can ask, sir, what's the use of this? Where do we use it? Let me tell you, without coordinate, nothing is there in this world. No planets, no galaxy, no building, no furniture in the space, no human in particular area, no aeroplane flying high in the sky without reference. Otherwise, it will not reach to its destination. Reference is required. So this is 2D coordinate. What we are learning here is the 2D coordinates. We have three types: absolute, relative, and polar. And to understand these coordinates, you'll have to do one more thing in AutoCAD, particularly in AutoCAD. Go to this spot, command line, grid. In grid, you will have to take anything which is going to gel with your working. What do I mean by working? That each grid I have taken 1 foot by 1 foot, so that while doing XY this way, I could count. So I can count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, because I'm taking 3 feet, 4 feet, I'm taking rounded number. That's why grid support is required, so that you could count and realize that the points are on the correct positions or not as per this value. Okay. So this is one setting we'll have to do in grid. Now I'll shift to polar coordinate. Before I start polar coordinate, let me make you understand two things, very, very important. One is that you'll have to always write 0 on the right side, 90 upside, 180 on your left side, and 270 downside. So 90 is similar to 12 o'clock. 0 is 3 o'clock in the evening. And this is 9 o'clock. And this is 6 o'clock in the evening. Does this work clockwise manner or anti-clockwise manner? After 3 you have 6. After 6 you have 9. After 9 you have 12 o'clock. So this rotation is called clockwise rotation. But here this doesn't work like that. It works anti-clockwise. So one important thing you have learned, that 0 will be on the right side, 180 will be on left side, upside 90, downside 270. Second important thing you have learned here, that you will have to start every time your angle from 0 anti-clockwise. Got the point? This is a matter of concept. This concept is not similar to what you have learnt in absolute and relative coordinate. In absolute and relative coordinate, what you have learnt is that x will be this side. You can see here, x will be this side, y will be this side. Always, it's fixed. Minus x this side, minus y this side. So this concept and this concept doesn't go along. This is for the sake of angular setting, angular point marking. But three of them represent 2D coordinate only, two-dimensional coordinate. Now the next thing about this polar coordinate, that how we start in AutoCAD. We'll have to write @ then distance, then angle symbol, and then the angle. No symbol of angle is required because this represents the angle. The moment you feed this symbol, AutoCAD recognizes that whatever number you give after this, it will take as the number of that number, that digital number as the angle. Got that? So let's start. Suppose I want to make something over here. So I'll start polyline. Once again 0, 0. Why I'm doing 0, 0 every time? Because I want to start with the default coordinate of AutoCAD screen. Origin point of the default screen XY coordinate. Got that? So 0, 0, enter. It started. If I want to travel this side, so I'll type 5 feet at the angle 0. Is it doing correctly? Now if I want to go up, so what I'll write, at the rate 2 feet at the angle 90. It went up like this. Suppose I want to go this side, at the rate 2 feet at the angle 0. Now let's relate this with this. I'm going to copy it so that it goes to the practice point, and let's keep it here. So this particular point which I have made, I have given distance and the 0 degree because this is coming right side from the origin point. If I'm going to go up, so now origin from here it shifts here. This plus symbol, let's make smaller plus symbol. Okay, and I'm going to rotate it, and then after I'm going to copy it. Okay, so you got this. Now let's make a different color. So earlier it was here, then it shifted here, and then it shifted here. I typed at the rate 5 feet. Even you can count through this grid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the angle 0. For which point? For getting which point? For getting this particular point, this was the value. For getting this point, what value I'm going to take? Let's check that. 2 feet. I have gone 2 feet up. And the angle was 90 because this plus is over here now. And this point represents 90, this 0, this 180, this 270. Once again, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it here. Now let me know this particular point, what value should I feed here? At the rate 2 feet, but angle is now 0. Once again, I'm going to make normal line, but this time I'm going to type at the rate, once again, at the rate 2 feet at the angle 0. Is it correct? This particular point is referencing from, every time you'll have to do what? You'll have to put this reference on the last point so that you don't get confused. To get this point, obviously, on this plus, from this origin point, I'm going on the right side because I'm going on the right side. On the right side is 0. Let me give you one more example. I'm going to make a rectangle at the rate 5 feet, 5 feet. After that, I'm going to rotate it 45 degree. I have rotated how much? 45 degree. I have made this with the help of rectangle. Now I'm going to make this with the help of polyline and in polar coordinate. So I'm going to click anywhere. I'm not going to go to origin point each time. So to make this, what I'll do, I'll have to write at the rate distance 5 feet at the angle. Let me know what angle should I give. 45. Now I'll have to reach to this point. इस पॉइंट को बनाने के लिए मैं फिर से टाइप करूंगा एट द रेट डिस्टेंस सेम है 5 फीट एंगल कितना आप हाउ 90 this particular origin point is coming here now. Let me fix it. Forget about these concepts. Don't get confused with absolute and relative. Your plus symbol is here. From origin, right side 0, up 90, left 180, down 270. I need line over here. This line is coming like this. Tell me the angle now. At the rate 5 feet at the angle. How much? Sure. How could 135? Tell me. Explain. Yeah, go ahead. Speak up. कैसे हुआ?
95 plus 55.
95?
90.
90 plus 45. करेक्ट. क्योंकि ये इसके बीच में आ रहा है, इसके बीच में नहीं आ रहा अब. दिस लाइन वॉज कमिंग हियर. हमेशा आप अपने राइट एंड लेफ्ट को याद रखोगे तो आप सॉल्व कर पाओगे. अगर आपने राइट लेफ्ट का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं रखा माइंड में, ओरिजिन पॉइंट से राइट को 0, ओरिजिन पॉइंट से लेफ्ट को 180 डिग्री. अगर आप ऐसा करोगे तो समझ जाओगे. अब मुझे 135 देना है. जो लोग YouTube पे देख रहे हैं उनको समझाने के लिए हम इसको प्लस करके बताते हैं कि यहां से यहां तक 90 डिग्री है. अगर लाइन आप यहां पे लेते हो, क्योंकि ये लाइन यहां पे आनी है, सो 45 प्लस 90 इट मेक्स 135. अब हम इधर का करेंगे. मुझे लगता है आप कोई भी anybody who is watching on YouTube or in the classroom you can make out now. आगे मुझे क्या करना है? एट द रेट 5 feet at the angle. टेल मी एंगल नाउ. बताओ किस कोऑर्डिनेट में अब ये मेरा लाइन जा रहा है? इस वाले में, 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 बिटवीन 180 एंड 270. तो बताएं कितना रखूं मैं? आप रेफरेंस को सामने रखो, काउंट कर लो. काउंट करो. 180 plus 45. It comes 225. Done. अब लास्ट है. मुझे लगता है आप क्वेश्चन पूछने की जरूरत मुझे नहीं है, आप बता सकते हैं. एट द रेट 5 feet एट द एंगल. अब इस कोऑर्डिनेट में हम आ गए 270 एंड 0 के कोऑर्डिनेट के अंदर. तो प्लस करें आप. 270 प्लस 45, so 315. Look at it, we have achieved it. Now one more thing I would ask you. The same geometry can we make with the help of absolute coordinate and relative coordinate? First time I don't have to use hash, but second time I'll have to use hash. Polyline 0, 0. ठीक है. पहला हमने क्या लेना है? 5 फुट, 5 फुट. अगले पॉइंट पे हमें कहां जाना है? हमें लिखना होगा हैश 0, 5 फुट, 10 फुट. I'll type UCS icon, this one. Then after I'll select selectable. Yes. And then after I'll hold it and move it somewhere over here. Now I'll take polyline. 0, comma 0. It started from here. 5 feet, comma 5 feet. So first point I have taken without hash. But for making this second line, since from this particular point, if I'm coming to this, x becomes 0, but y becomes 10 feet. So what I'll type, with the help of shift, you make hash and then after 0, comma 10 feet. Now tell me what value should I put here? Hash, and then after I'm coming down how much? On y-axis 5 down. On x-axis I'm going minus 5 feet, comma 5 feet. Correct? Now to make the last point, hash, tell me now the value. Minus, no, the first value is 0. 0, comma, from this point we're coming this way. So it's minus 5 feet is wrong because from this point this is minus 5. You are coming from here. So we'll have to write hash 0, comma 0. That's the correct answer. Same thing if you wish to make with the help of relative coordinate. Can you make this? Let's try. And then after class will be over. So I'm going to move it away. This was done in absolute coordinate. Polyline 0, comma 0. First line 5 feet, comma 5 feet. Now tell me what to do for this direction. This line in relative coordinate. Since this is relative coordinate, so the next point will be reference from this. Look at it. Look at this. So what I'll do, I'll type how much? I have to come down this side. So on x-axis, I'm going minus 5 feet, comma, I'm going 5 feet up. Correct? In the y direction. Tell me for this direction. Now the coordinate has shifted to this. Means this particular origin is shifted here. Because for making the next point, we'll have to reference from the last point. So let me know what value should I feed here. You'll have to write what? You are coming down on the x-axis or y-axis. You are coming down on y-axis. You're going in the opposite direction of x. So minus x. So first value will be minus. Now the next line, this next point is going to be made with the reference of this particular last point. आप बताएं कि क्या मुझे वैल्यू डालना है? 5 feet, comma minus 5 feet. Correct. Likewise, कोई भी ज्योमेट्री आप बना सकते हैं किससे? एब्सोल्यूट से भी, रिलेटिव से भी और पोलर से भी. Tell me now, after working with the help of these three, सबसे फेवरेट आपका कौन सा बना? Whether पोलर, रिलेटिव और एब्सोल्यूट. आप बताएं आपको सबसे अच्छा कौन सा लगा? क्योंकि मैं इस पे और कुछ एक्सप्लेन करना चाहता हूं. बताएं. पोलर. पोलर अच्छा लगा. मुझे भी अच्छा पोलर लगता है. आपको? पोलर. हाँ, पोलर. पोलर. ऐसा क्यों? क्योंकि पोलर की एप्लीकेशन बहुत ही ज्यादा है. इस क्लास में मैंने बस आपको इतना बताया कि कोऑर्डिनेट का कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है, लेकिन इसकी एप्लीकेशन सीखनी है। सो कम डाउन टू अस। ये रूम आपको दिया गया, इस बेड को पोजीशन करना है। आप मुझे बताओ कैसे पोजीशन करोगे? हाउ वुड यू पोजीशन इट? बेड कहीं भी लगा दो, इधर भी लगा दो। इधर मैं क्या करता हूं, बेड को मैंने यहां से लेकर यहां लगा दिया। अभी मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि या रोटेट कर लेता हूं। रोटेट करने के बाद मैं यहां लगाना चाहता हूं। लगाओ कहीं भी, दिस इज मैटर ऑफ प्लानिंग। लेकिन लगाना इस कोने में है, इस कोने में है, इस वॉल से कितने डिस्टेंस पे लगाना है, इस वॉल से कितने डिस्टेंस पे, यहां से कितने डिस्टेंस पे, यहां से कितने डिस्टेंस पे, इसी को तो कोऑर्डिनेट कहते हैं। तो जनरली हम एक्स वाई कोऑर्डिनेट को ही कंसीडर करते हैं, मतलब एक को एक्स मान लेते हैं। सो नियरेस्ट को एक्स मानेंगे, ये वाला एक्स मान लिया, ध्यान से देखें ये, और इसको हमने वाई मान लिया। देखा जाए तो ये प्लस एक्स है और ये माइनस वाई है। सो यहां से इतनी दूरी पे, माइनस वाई एक्सिस से इतनी दूरी पे, और प्लस एक्स एक्सिस पे इतनी दूरी पे। इस तरीके से आप क्या करते हो, क्या बनाते हो? जैसे कि मैंने बताया, दिस इज प्लस एक्स, दिस इज माइनस वाई। सो नियरेस्ट दो एक्सिस से आपको क्या करना है, डायमेंशन दे देना है। यू डोंट नीड टू पे हीट टू दिस डिस्टेंस एंड दिस डिस्टेंस। देने को आप यहां भी दे सकते हो, डजेंट मैटर, क्योंकि इस वाले एक्सिस से आपने दे दिया, इस वाले एक्सिस से दे दिया, हमारी बेड की लोकेशन हमें पता चल चुकी। और इस स्पेस में आप ऐसे करके सारी चीजों को पोजीशन करोगे, गार्डन में ट्रीज को, रूम में फर्नीचर को, सिटी में हाउसेस को, कहीं पे भी। रेफरेंस बहुत बड़ा है या रेफरेंस छोटा है, रूम के रेफरेंस से लेकर सिटी के रेफरेंस तक ये काम आता है। और अभी भी आपको नहीं समझ में, नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं इस बात को, then you'll have to join the class and see live in the classroom. Thank you very much for watching this video.